Hello, good people. Whether you've arrived at this episode of Wild Ride because you're a fan of Demi Lovato or myself, trust me, you are in for a treat. I honestly don't know how this happened, but boy did it, and it's awesome. So, ladies and gentlemen, Demi Lovato. Yeah.
Hello.
And Demi, this is my co-host Scott, who you've met numerous times as well.
How you
Hi,
doing?
Scott.
Yeah, good
Good,
to
how are
see you.
you?
Good, thank you.
Yeah. So I just want to start off by saying thank you so much for doing this.
Oh my gosh, absolutely.
What a what a huge I just feel like such a I don't know what do you even call it, just a vermin asking people to do a podcast. I just feel like it's because when people have asked me historically, it's always been like, oh God, like the most annoying question. Will I do your podcast? And I'm thinking, no, I don't want to do your fucking podcast. And I made a rule. If I've never heard of the podcast, the answer is no. But I always break the rule. But in any case, here we are. I've become what I hated, and I couldn't be more grateful to have you.
Oh, thank you. I couldn't be more grateful to do this. You've been supportive to me throughout my career, and you're also just a rad fucking dude. So I'll always support in whatever way I can. And
Man, God,
yeah.
that means the world to me. So check this out with Instagram. And this drove me nuts for the longest time. That you can click followers, right? And it'll it'll show you a list of people who follow you. But that list that Instagram will show you of your followers is not in any particular order. And I've always thought, why the fuck doesn't Instagram show me my followers in a list like by the order of how many fucking followers they have so that I could maybe know if like I've got big time people following me. And I just couldn't figure it out. And I was Google searching it. I was asking people, how the fuck do I get a list of my followers in the order of the people who have the most followers themselves? And I dug at it because I thought this would be a good way to get podcast guests. If I could direct message someone who's following me, who knows? But in any case, I finally figured it out. I forget the name of the company, but it cost like $350. And it's like a service that isn't even like common practice. But I'll totally tell you, I can, if you're interested, I can tell you how to sort it out. And not surprisingly, when I got this list, number one on the list is Demi Lovato. by by far, like no,
Oh,
and they had it actually generated multiple lists, but there was one that was just by the number of followers, and then there was the second list, which was by how in demand the person is, and the in demand list was very similar to the most followed list. However, it wasn't exactly the same order. There are certain people who have less followers that are just more in demand people, but
cool.
but you're number one on both lists
Wow. Cool.
by
Awesome.
far. So
Well, thank you.
yeah, so I can only imagine, and I should also say this wasn't how I learned that you follow me. It's been an honor to be Instagram friends with you for years. And I remember a time when you didn't follow anybody. Is that right? Like for the first stretch on Instagram, didn't you follow zero people?
Yeah, I guess so. I guess what happened was my team or somebody created an Instagram for me, and I never used it until I was doing X Factor in like 2013 maybe,
Uh-huh.
or 2012. I don't know. So I started using it, and but I guess before that I didn't follow anybody.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I'll never forget one time. It would have been 2013. You invited me to your concert because we both happened to be in like I forget
Louisville.
Louisville, was
Wow,
it?
good
Yes.
memory.
Louisville. Okay, yeah. Did you come with me?
2013, I wasn't with you.
Okay, then you weren't with Scott, but yeah, I'll never forget. I came to the concert, and I kind of just thought, man, this would be cool to check it out, and like legitimately, and I'm not even just like saying this, like I was like I found it so inspiring, like I really was like there was just something about this performance, this concert that you had that just felt empowering and just put like you walk out of your concert thinking I'm somebody and I can do anything,
Oh,
like
that's awesome.
That's cool.
it was
I
really
love
really
that. I mean, that's the whole reason why I tour, is to share my music with people in person and hopefully give them a sense of belonging in this world, a sense of community that you can relate to the people that are in this arena with you, no matter if you know them or not. I just want to, that's the whole purpose of being in this industry.
it was evident. It was evident,
Oh,
and
thank
we
you.
and
I'm
we
gonna
took
cry.
this picture together. I remember because like I would like always be videoing, and I have like a pretty good quality camera in my pocket, and I took this picture of us together. And
Yes.
and I remember that you posted that photo of us on your Instagram, and the next day was like the biggest bump in followers that I had ever gotten.
That's crazy.
I think I picked up like 50,000 followers, and that was like way back when I didn't have shit.
Yeah, I think I remember you telling me about that. Like you went to the concert and like you did a prayer circle with them before.
Yeah.
I remember I was like, hey guys, like I told a few of my dancers and band members, I was like, yeah, my friend Steve is coming back. And I don't remember, I think I may have said Steve-O, and someone was like, wait, like the Steve-O? And I was like, well, yeah, there's only one Steve-O. And they were like, no fucking way. And I was like, yeah. And so it was awesome. But I thought it was so cool that you came back and prayed with us. And
Oh,
like,
man.
it's always special when you have like a friend come to a show, because, when you're touring, what people don't understand is I've even had some fans that have shown up to meet and greet several shows in a row. And I am so homesick that like seeing their familiar face is like rewarding to me. And so seeing like a friend's face is really special and really rewarding, because we're touring for 2-3 months at a time, and we're exhausted. We miss our friends, our family, and so even just getting to see you, that's why I remember what city it was in, because like I don't get a lot of visitors on tour, like especially not in Louisville, Kentucky.
So,
Right.
like,
Yeah.
I definitely I didn't forget it, and it was
it was
And
really
it was
cool.
packed. It had to have been completely sold out, because I remember looking at I just thought, oh my God, there's like 15,000 people. That's
great.
And for me, like I have such a different take on touring than what you just described, because number one, if I see somebody who's like regularly going to show after show after show, I get super self-conscious about that, because it's no secret that comedians essentially do the same fucking act like over and over and over. Like it's almost like it's supposed to be kind of mysterious, where you create the impression that it's not just repeating the
Yes.
same show. And
Yes.
I feel so exposed when I know somebody is going to show after show after show, because they're seeing the same fucking thing,
Totally.
Oh, that's so interesting. Because with musicians, you're like, the more
Right.
someone goes to your show, the better, because they'll learn your
Like
song.
singing
But-
along
Right.
and stuff.
You don't want someone to learn your jokes.
Right. That's the difference between, like you go to a comedian's show the second time, and like they get, if the comedian does the same jokes they did the last time you saw the show, you're outraged. Like, what the fuck, man? You can't come back with the same show.
Yeah.
But if you're a musician and you come with new stuff, they're like, play the old stuff. It's the total opposite.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You can't stop looking at them.
Although I do have moments where, like, if I see a comedian show and they repeat the joke, I'm like, oh, wait, listen to this one. This one's good.
Right.
I like
There-
tell my friends.
There is a little bit of the greatest hits factor, and then the other, you had like 15,000 people, like for a really really great week, the best weekend we ever had. And that's when I say weekend, we go to a city and it's like a comedy club, and we have to do like 2 shows per night, 2 nights in a row, even though we finally graduated to theaters right before this coronavirus bullshit.
Yeah.
I finally I finally built up the momentum, and I'm selling tickets. I'm sold out way before the shows, and my agent says no more comedy clubs for us, and I'm like right on. And then now, and it's crazy because it's such a grind. I've been on tour for, you say like 2 or 3 months at a time. I've been on tour for fucking 9.5 years.
Yeah.
Like without,
Right.
There's no, there's no beginning, no end. It's
How long have you been touring for, like, consistently? Are you in 30, 40 weeks out of the year, or do you have
she
a good?
said 2 or 3 months at a time.
But then do you take a break and then you go out again?
So if it's so the way that my career works is like if I'm on cycle, if I am doing if I'm in an album cycle where right now I am finishing up my album, so I'm not touring at the moment, and everything's put on pause due to the pandemic, and so I relate to that. But I don't have anything coming out at this moment other than singles, and then so right now I wouldn't travel as much as I do when I tour. When I tour, I normally put out an album and then I tour, and with that I tour 2 months at a time, and then I take maybe a couple weeks or a month off, maybe 2 months, and then go back out and do if it's a world tour, I'll do a different country, a different continent, a month at a time.
It's so funny because that's another thing that's completely the opposite of comedy, because like a musician puts out an album and then goes out on tour in support of the album, whereas the comedian does the tour and then like at the end of the tour for that material, then they record the special and put it out. It's like the flip-flop.
Well, I guess artists do that too. I just haven't done it yet, where they filmed the concert.
Right.
I haven't actually filmed one of my concerts and had it. There was talk to do that with my last tour, but it just fell through, and which was a bummer because I loved that show. But yeah,
right.
I see what you're saying. It is really interesting.
Yeah, it's super interesting, and it's a super pisser that both models are shut down for now. But it's all good, man.
The first time you and Steve met, was that on the staircase, or was that before that?
No. This is the first time that I met Demi. I'm willing to bet that just about none of you guys would be able to guess where I met Demi for the first time. But before you find out, I want to do a couple things. I want to tell you something very embarrassing. And I want to remind you that with this shutdown, afros are getting big just like mine. And on top of that, summer's here. So balls are getting stinky, okay? Now, here's this embarrassing story. I had this girlfriend in year 2000. And she was doing her thing, right? She was down there. And she said, "I'm sorry, I have to stop, because it just smells too bad." Can you believe that? And it was my balls. So thank God for Manscaped, because what do we have here? It's actual ball deodorant, okay? I don't have to worry about my balls stinking anymore, because I just put a little dab of that, and yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. See? And it smells great. Plus, I don't have to worry about it looking shaggy and disgusting because I got my mower. I mean, dude, try and cut your balls with that. Not gonna happen. It's never gonna happen because Manscaped's got it figured out. And of course, I told you guys about my big plans to have a huge harvest of bush for a secret project. That's still on. And you need a mower to do it. Take care of yourself, guys. And here's the deal. You go to manscaped.com, you use the promo code STEVO, and you get 20% off your order with free shipping. Again, Manscaped.com. That's the website. You're going to use promo code STEVO at manscaped.com for 20% off your order and free shipping. If that's not sweet, I don't know what it is. But my balls smell great, so I don't even care. Here we go. The first time I met Demi was when I was on Dancing with the Stars in 2009. And
Okay.
and you know, they'll bring on like a superstar performer to just do like a performance, and it just so happened that Demi did the performance on Dancing with the Stars like on the week that my niece was visiting from Florida with my sister, and my niece was like maybe 6 at the time, like maybe 7, I don't know, but she was like, oh my god, that is Demi Lovato, and I was like the coolest uncle ever for going over and saying, hey, and I'd never met you, but I said, hey, like would it be cool if you took a photo with my niece? And Demi's just like, of course, shit, yeah, like no problem. And I'll tell you, that photo of you and my niece had on her bedroom wall ever since, and not only ever since, but I think it was your last stop in Florida, and I somehow managed to arrange it through a mutual rep that we have to put her on the meet and greet list for your last concert in Florida, and it's like a decade later. And sure enough, my niece shows up like now 10 years older with the same photo, and you signed it for her. So now that photo's on her wall with your signature on it.
Oh, that's so cute.
It's just worth mentioning because it's so impressive to me that this like super fandom that my niece has for you has endured for so long. You know, like you're like clearly your fans have grown up with you. And
yeah.
like, I mean,
think because, like, you know, I came out on the scene when I was a teenager, and so they saw. Well, technically, I was a child because I did Barney and Friends, but I think when I got my break, it was on Disney Channel, which is when a lot of preteens are watching, identifying with these characters that are the girl next door. So, you know, they get that likability factor right away, and then I put out music that was just like easy to relate to, I guess. And I talked about stuff that a lot of people were kind of needing someone to speak about, like bullying. Like I talked about that. That was something that I dealt with. And I think people really like kind of latched on to my honesty of like, we need to show this girl support and love and make sure it's like they really, my fan base has carried me through my career in every sense of the word, whether it's been emotional support or just like, you know, success. It's all attributed to them because they relate, and it's been amazing. I'm so grateful.
They've definitely hung on for the ride, and that's super epic.
I saw on your Instagram that you do jiu-jitsu.
I do.
How long have you been doing that for, and how much has it changed your life? Because that's
Scott got into jiu-jitsu, and
I'm a white belt.
Okay.
See, I'm a second-degree blue belt. This is going on year 4. I'm obsessed. Like I love it so much, and I'm missing it so much right now. But you can't have close contact with anybody, so the most I can do is like drills in my backyard, but because I have some mats, but I just got them yesterday, so I haven't started.
Wow.
But anyways, I've been doing it for like going on 4 years. It changed so much for me because even just the way that like I use jiu-jitsu as a metaphor to life. The techniques with jiu-jitsu are what make you a beast. You know, you can be 6'5" and tons of muscle, but if you're not good at technique, you're gonna get put to the ground by a 65-year-old person that is better than you at technique, you know? So it's like, it's not about the muscle at all. And that's what's cool, especially for a woman, like having the confidence to walk down an alley at night. I'm not going to, but to have that confidence of like, I know I can do it because if somebody attacks me, I can beat the shit out of them and be fun. Like, I know I'm good. And there's that confidence that like, I wish every girl could have that, and guy. But it has changed so much for me. But yeah, like I was saying with the technique, sorry, I talk a lot. No, I'm drinking coffee, and I don't drink coffee. I started in quarantine. So, but when you're thinking of like, sometimes it's just the difference of an inch will make the difference between submitting somebody or choking them out, and sometimes it's just that extra inch in life that you need to push you towards greatness as well. And those metaphors from jujitsu you could put into life. And I don't know, I'm such an advocate for it. I get so passionate about it.
I love it. And I want to talk about MMA, but there's a couple things. First, you just said that about how your music and your concerts and everything that you do in this industry is, essentially to like, sort of give people to themselves and empower them. And you've been so prolific and proactive with like different causes and stuff. And I know that you just did this new mental health fund. And so I got to ask you about that.
Yeah, well, basically it was an opportunity that came to me, and I could not say no to. It was totally applicable to where everyone is right now. That we're dealing with so much stress and anxiety with the uncertainty of this pandemic, and this is playing on the fears of so many people. And it's so important that there's an outlet for people, especially if they're stuck at home with their abusers, or if they're depressed and they can't get to their therapist or their psychiatrist for some reason. It's just like, this is a really crucial time that people need support during. And the mental health fund is something that people can go to in order to get help.
And where do they find a link for that?
I'm not sure what the actual link is. I'll get that for you, and I'll make sure that we can
do the proper swipe up and call to action.
We'll put it in the description and all that, because we definitely want to get behind that. And okay, now in a juicier sense, because I'm dying to know this, because like you are so much more famous than I am. All right, now before we get into this fresh squeezed juice, let me tell you another something that I find a little bit embarrassing. I'm self-conscious about the fact that I used to have a $5,000 mattress on my bed up until, like a month or two ago? Yeah? When the people from Helix reached out and told me about their sleep quiz to determine what is the perfect mattress for you and how they wanted me to try out their thing. And I thought, you know what? My $5,000 mattress is too firm. And so I had an open mind, and we took the $5,000 thing off the bed. We stashed it in the hallway. I said, let me try this out. It feels good. I really liked it, but I wasn't willing to throw away that obnoxiously expensive mattress just yet until I felt sure. Well, now it's been what, 4 weeks, 5 weeks? And I love this Helix mattress so much that I totally got rid of the $5,000 one. I actually gave it away to a buddy of mine, all right? And I just, like, honestly love it. My bed has a mattress from helixsleep.com. That's where you get it. And I didn't even know about the pillows that Helix has. I'm telling you, these are the most dopest pillows ever. And I'm a pillow psycho. So I'm just thrilled about this. If you go to helixsleep.com/Stevo, okay, that's HELIX sleep.com/Stevo. You go ahead and order yourself a mattress. You get up to $200 off of any mattress that you want and 2 free pillows. Again, that is up to $200 off of any mattress you want, plus they give you 2 free pillows, and I'm telling you, they're the dopest pillows in the world. That's if you go to helixsleep.com/Stevo, and you're going to thank me for it, because I'm telling you, These are the greatest mattresses, and they're not obnoxiously expensive to begin with. But in any case, let's talk about how famous we are. Like, right? I mean, just there's no way around it. Like, you're an actual full-blown superstar, definitely the most famous friend that I have.
But I watched you all the time on Jackass, so I don't see it that way.
Okay,
She was like,
enough.
"Fuck, everybody's got a podcast. All right, I'll do Steve's."
I'll give I'll give myself a little bit of credit, but you're just a bona fide superstar, and I feel like that for me, and I'm pretty comfortable with it because, like, I'm not such a big deal that if I, like, say something crazy, like, it's going to become a story, or I'm not going to, like, I don't have paparazzi chasing me around. So what I'm dying to know is, like, if and when you leave your house, like, are there people popping out of the bushes and, like, snapping photos of you, like, constantly?
So I've gone to the grocery store.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I've gone to the grocery.
Gone to the grocery store a couple times, and I didn't see them. So they're actually kind of sneaky with me. I think they've learned that if they do show themselves, I'll just stop showing up. So, like, they literally, but it was weird. I got this feeling that somebody was watching. Anyways, so I didn't actually see them, but then pictures showed up later. Nobody actually knows where I am right now because I'm not where I was living. And it's really nice because I'm able to do stuff right now that, I'm not typically able to do. And it's really nice just to sit in my front yard and, just not worry. It's nice. But,
I mean, I can only imagine what it would be like, and I'm such an attention whore through and through. I mean, every little fiber of my being just cries out for attention, and I want so much to be like as big of a star and as famous as I could possibly be, but I can't rule out the possibility that there's like a level where it's like, oh man, why do I have to be so famous? Do you ever feel that way? Like,
there's definitely moments where I'm like, yeah, I think I'm good. Like, I don't want to get more famous. Like, if it gets any worse than this, I gotta, like, take a step back. You know what I mean? Because sometimes it's just so much to deal with. Nothing can prepare you for this. There's no manual. There's no, like, there's nothing that tells you,
right.
Okay, this is fame. This is what you're going to deal with. You can't prepare. And especially as a child getting into the industry, you don't know what you're getting into.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely times where I'm like, this is a lot. But, I take it day by day. And I really don't I always say I don't like the fame aspect of it. I like the singing. So if I could quit tomorrow and, have some sort of Hannah Montana identity, that would be my ideal lifestyle. Like, I would love to not be famous, but still get to tour and perform. And it just doesn't work like that. So that's my problem.
Right. I
just want to go to Starbucks without taking 20 photos.
I'm almost the other way around. I'm like I can't sing, and I'm not like particularly talented in any classic way, but I will shove things up my butt if it will make people want to take pictures with me in public. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, like I've always said that I'm not like an attention, or I'm not an adrenaline junkie or a thrill seeker. I'm just an attention whore. Like, that's it. It's whatever it takes to get people to look at me. But it's interesting. So speaking of being an attention whore and constantly filming myself, there was that time, and I think that was 2013 as well, where I went to like sex shops in West Hollywood and got all this like crazy bondage gear and like chains and like assless chaps. It was this suit made out of rubber with like a gimp mask and a zipper for the mouth. And I went around handcuffing myself to shit so that I would just be discovered by people. And it was this parking parking garage in West Hollywood, and I had no idea. I was just like, oh, okay, cool. Set up the cameras, and I'll handcuff myself to the railing, and whoever comes down the stairs when they walk around this little landing, all of a sudden they'll be confronted by this creepy gimp. And it wasn't even like I did it over and over and over. I did it once. And the only person who came down those stairs was Demi Lovato. Like, I mean,
What were you thinking when you saw that? Like, the last thing on your mind is that was going to happen.
oh, dude,
to
it was
you.
the best reaction too. Like there was I set up the cameras like a pro, and there was just this moment of like full on shock. Like she literally thought she was gonna die.
I literally, because like,
First of all, I didn't know what a gimp was, like a gimp suit. I didn't know what that was until you said it. That like somewhere along the way that night you said it, and I was like, okay, I guess that must be what this is.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I think the first thing that went through my head was like, I was kind of slightly terrified, and then once that like wore off, because I was like, oh, he's handcuffed. There's nothing he can do. I need to take a picture of this because nobody's going to believe me. But I didn't want to be rude, so I was like, can I take a picture?
Like not rude at all, and that's all I ever wanted was for people to take pictures of me. So,
That's why he's dressed up like a gimp.
right.
I know.
And I remember it was like, it was just so cool of you. Like I was like, hey, can you sign this release form so that I can? Because I wanted to be like real careful about putting, like put it on YouTube, and like you were like, yeah, 100% for sure. Like, it was super cool. Like, I remember it's the same thing with Justin Bieber, because I was filming some video. I'm dressed up as a clown running around Venice at the Venice skate park. Just bumped into him. We're like, oh my god, like, dude, when you sign it, he's like, fuck yeah, for sure, no problem. Like,
Yeah.
and it's interesting too, because on the topic of MMA, and like, I'm a known, like, humongous fan of MMA. Like, I do not miss a fight. I watch early prelims starting at like 3 p.m, and I sit there for fucking 6 hours, like, watch every single fight. And it's because, like, following you drew my attention to Ronda Rousey, and I was like, oh, let's check this out. And I just didn't even realize, oh my god, like, I love this. And then that's why I became such a fan of MMA. And,
Oh, that's dope.
right. And when I was starting to plan out like how to do a podcast, I would think of questions and write them down. And I had this whole thing, and I'm buddies with Dana White, the president of the UFC, and I wrote down this question, like, Dana White, how come there's been celebrity boxing? There's been all kinds of, you see celebrity boxing all over the place, but there's never been celebrity MMA. It's
Yeah.
never, like, why not? And like, why wouldn't they have like the celebrity ultimate
Yeah.
fighter? So I had that question written down. After I wrote down that question, then all of a sudden I see all the news that Justin Bieber challenged Tom Cruise to a
Yes.
fight in the octagon. And it just so happened that like that same exact week, Dana White's assistant reached out to me and said, hey, Dana wants to invite you to be at the season premiere for the Contender series here in Vegas. Do you want to come? And I said, I said, fuck yeah, I want to come. And like, can I get Dana on camera for a minute when I'm there?
Yeah.
They said for sure. So I had this fucking van. I get Dana in the van. He has no idea what I want to ask him. And I said to Dana White, Dana, I've watched this news about Justin Bieber and Tom Cruise, and I think Tom Cruise is afraid of Justin Bieber, but I'm here to tell you that I am not afraid of Justin Bieber. and I asked him would he put on a fight between me and Justin Bieber, because I wanted to raise money so that my girl and I can start our own animal sanctuary. And and Dana White said, I edited the shit out of this whole thing. I mean, I put it out as a video on YouTube. I edited it so heavily to cut out like 90% of the conversation, which was Dana White wanting nothing to do with it whatsoever. He was like, dude, I don't know what commission would put that on. Like it wouldn't be legal, Yeah. But
I have a funny Dana White story.
I want to hear it.
Okay, so there was one time where I was trying to put on the fight, and it was right when they switched from UFC Fight Pass to ESPN Plus.
Yeah,
And
Fox.
so I was like trying to figure it out, and I was so used to like just going to the Fight Pass app and hooking up the fights that way. And then all of a sudden now there's all these extra steps, and I couldn't figure it out. So I Instagrammed on my Instagram story. I posted like, what's the point of UFC Fight Pass now? Like, if you can't even watch the fights on it, because I'm trying and I'm about to miss like some really good fights right now. Like, right? Like, I'm getting like frustrated because I can't get it to work. And all of a sudden I get this text with like instructions, and it says like, go to espn.com/da-da-da, and it's got the instructions, and I just reply, I was like, thanks, but who is this? And and he replied, it's Dana White from the UFC. I was like, oh shit, I'm so sorry.
Epic.
Like, never Instagram story about
Wow.
like UFC not working, because you will get a text from Dana White.
Ooh,
wish.
that would be awful.
Hey, real quick, who's your favorite MMA UFC fighter?
You know what? I'm gonna go with
Rose.
I love DC, but I also love a friend of mine named Emily Whitmire. She's trained me several times, and she's a badass. I love her as a person, and I don't know. I know a lot of fighters, and I'm friends with a bunch, but she's a good friend of mine, and I have a lot of love for her. So I would say her.
Good.
But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's tons.
There's so many. There's
so many different types of fighters too.
right.
So
As far as like just nice, like the I would say Dustin Poirier is just such a nice, just good dude, such a classy dude.
Masvidal's a sweetheart.
Masvidal's our buddy.
Oh, that's cool. I don't know him.
Thug Rose. I've never met her or anything, but I just think
I've talked to her on Instagram.
Ah, dude, she's so fucking cool.
Yeah, she's a badass.
Ah, man. When they had UFC 249 was supposed to be back on, and it was just like the main events from all of these ones that got canceled. It was the craziest card ever, and then it didn't happen. But
I
let's
know.
not alienate people who aren't fans of MMA. Let's try that thing. Hey, can we get can you look that way a little bit? Just look that way. Okay, not looking at me, but look that way. Okay, for a little bit more towards me. Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, right there. Now just keep looking that way and answer this question. What do you call a lesbian dinosaur?
I'm not going to answer that.
A lick-a-lot-of-puss.
That's good. That's a good reaction.
That was really good. That was
Yeah, we do that for the thumbnail.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. So what else do we got? MMA was a big one. How about acting? Like, you started out as like acting, and like I've heard you talk so much about singing. Are we done with acting? Are we?
No, absolutely not. I have a movie coming out
Cool.
soon. I don't know the exact date, but I have a movie coming out with Will Ferrell and Rachel McAdams. It's called Eurovision, and it's a comedy. I'm so excited about it. I've always wanted to work with the two of them, and now I get to do it in the same movie. And so I actually shot my first day of shooting was on my 27th birthday.
Nice.
And the last time I filmed something on my birthday was, I believe it was Camp Rock, the first day of production of Camp Rock. So that was kind of cool. Felt like a new beginning.
What was it about Camp Rock that was so much bigger than all the other projects? Like, that was just like such a big deal, but you were like regularly on the Disney Channel before that, right?
No, so Camp Rock was my first. Well, I'd done one thing for Disney Channel before that, and it was called As the Bell Rings. It was like this mini show. It was 5-minute episodes, and they would play on the commercial breaks. So I did. It was like not many people knew of it, but then I booked Camp Rock, and immediately after I started filming my TV show. So
The Sunny one.
yes, Sunny with a Chance. So
Yeah.
it was just like, I don't know. It was my first big gig, but I think also because it was acting and music, it was double the.
Gotcha. That's
Yeah.
okay. So that makes sense.
Because you have like the songs from the movie were on the iTunes chart back when they had iTunes, and it was on the iTunes chart, but then it was also because it was film and made for TV movie. I had my face on stuff as well, so you go into Target and I'd see my face on like a beach towel.
So rad. So jealous.
That's your dream, dude.
I'm just so jealous of that.
I would have, yeah.
That reminds me that the last time I bumped into you in person, like, dude, you wouldn't even believe I'm a maniac. I'm a maniac. I was like, hey, do you have your AirDrop on? Like, I've got this. I'm just excited about this. And I airdropped over on. I don't know why I'm even saying this, but I airdropped over onto Demi's phone, like unreleased shit that like do you remember that?
No.
Okay, well it's a dude, like the most high level fucking epic shit.
How long ago was this?
Not that long ago. I mean, but dude, it was clearly after we filmed the opening sequence to Gnarly.
Oh, okay.
Like,
Oh my gosh! Wait, I wish that like I had known it was so top secret.
oh, dude, it's still
She's
not
like, I
out.
shared it to 80 million people.
It's still not out, and it's now we're maybe like 2 or 3 weeks maybe away from putting it out, and dude, it's the first time that there was a full Jackass cast reunion since we lost Ryan Dunn, and it was the first time we had all of us together. That everybody and all the guys duct taped me to the fucking side of a billboard truck with my name on it, and just almost fucking kill me while I'm duct taped to this truck. And then my buddy Preston literally drives the truck with me taped to the side of it, like all the way to Las Vegas.
What?
Yeah, and then we picked up the second half of it in the snow-covered mountains of Colorado to film the sun coming up, and because I taped the special in Denver.
Wow.
Yeah, so yeah, like she didn't even know it's on her phone. now people.
That's amazing.
And I also airdropped you the video of me finding this little sweetheart Wendy.
Wait, what was that?
I also airdropped you the video of me finding this dog right here, Wendy, from Peru.
Yes. Oh, I can't wait to meet it. Boy or girl?
It's a girl, and
Girl.
yeah, she might appear to be dead or unwell, but what she does is she just matches my speed. Like if I get up and run, she gets up and run. If I sit and chill, she sits and chills. Like she's the most. I found her in the streets of Peru.
Ah, that's amazing.
And yeah, I tried to smuggle her into my hotel in Peru, and they wouldn't allow it. So I pitched a tent outside of the hotel and slept with her in the tent for like the next 5 nights before we went up into the mountains. And she followed me everywhere for the whole 3 weeks. And she's my girl. Yeah.
My babies are here with me. Oh my gosh, they're right here. So this is Cinderella,
Nice.
and then this is Batman.
Epic.
Nice.
He's got a cooler shirt on. His hoodie says "Bitches love me."
Nice. I love it. I love it.
How are you keeping busy during the pandemic? Are you staying busy? Do you have a routine? Do you keep a ritual, or are you just kind of chilling?
You know, I'm really enjoying the downtime. I was supposed to be like hitting the ground running, going back to work. But the way that everything happened, the world kind of paused, and it's been really nice, and it's been a blessing in disguise. Because I'm super grateful that I like have, the ability to release new music and everything. But it's just really nice being able to spend time with family, getting to focus on like my mental health as well right now. I'm doing a lot of meditating.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, and I swear I haven't meditated so much in my life. Like,
Me too.
yeah, because you find yourself, there's literally nothing to do, so you might as well do nothing, so.
What kind of meditating do you do?
Sometimes I'll do like guided prayers. There's an app on my phone that my church has, and so I'll do guided prayers. Other meditations will be like, I do some Kundalini.
Okay.
And some is just like breathing.
Nice. I'm on a tear. I keep it on an app as well, and today was day 117 straight of averaging over 40 minutes a day, because I do 20 minutes twice a day.
Oh, wow,
So,
that's awesome.
I know, and I really have this. I probably shouldn't say it because I don't want to jinx it, but I just genuinely have a belief that by the virtue of being disciplined about a meditation practice, that the universe conspires in my favor somehow. I just believe that
for sure.
by setting
Have
a time,
you?
by setting aside, I set aside time. By setting aside time to really make an effort to connect with God is what it is. The universe, God, like that effort, I think, is somehow recognized, and there's this legit thing where just things kind of come into place,
Totally. It's almost like the universe is watching you put hard work into yourself, and it wants to reward you. I believe that meditation is hard work. That's why so many people don't want to do it. They just think, they use the excuse, which is the excuse I used to use, which was, I'm not good at meditating. Or no, I'm too distracted, blah, blah, blah. It's yeah, that's the whole purpose. You're supposed to, that's why you're supposed to meditate, is to practice.
Oh my God. That's why it's called a practice, huh?
I feel like people are like, oh, well, gardening's my meditation. It's no, that's gardening. Meditation is meditation,
Yeah.
Right. Well, do you have anything else? Because I think that we've probably, how long have we been going?
We're 44 minutes.
I think we could probably cut Demi loose.
We really appreciate it. I'm dying to know who does your eyebrows. Those are the best looking eyebrows I've ever seen in my entire life.
Thank you. I actually do them, and I don't let anybody touch them.
I'm the best looking eyebrows I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
Yeah, for
nice.
Sure.
What I do want to ask, are there any TV shows that I'm not aware of that I need to start watching, fucking immediately?
So I haven't been watching a lot of TV shows, but I have been watching movies. And I just saw this movie that I think you'll really love called Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind.
Is that a super old one?
No, it's not. It's a brand new documentary, and it was just released this in April. So, it was just released on Apple TV, but it's all about actually meditation and technically it's about aliens, but they talk about how you can have a close encounter of the fifth kind, which is
the fifth dimension
contact
with aliens. So the close encounters would be the first encounter would be seeing a UFO. The second would be some kind of proof being left behind. The third encounter would be you have some sort of interaction with the alien. The fourth is you're on board, you get abducted, and then the fifth is human initiated contact with aliens. I sound nuts right now.
I love it. I'm 100% down.
I think there's a correlation between, the shift in the Mayan calendar where it was where everyone said the world was going to end in 2012. Right. Yeah. Well, all that people had said for a long time there was going to be the shift in consciousness. And I really think that was the beginning of it.
Sure.
And this documentary is talking about that shift of consciousness.
Sure.
And I think that it's just also interesting that it was one of the top viewed movies on Apple TV. Like it was just in the top most watched. And I think this time right now is forcing a lot of people to like look within themselves, and that consciousness is totally shifting. So I think you'd really like it. And
I want to hear your thoughts, so text me afterwards.
Okay, yeah, so maybe text. Oh, it's called Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what about books? Like, do you have a favorite book?
I'm so ADHD, I do not read.
Okay, good.
I just don't.
I'm pretty bad about it, but I got to tell you that Conversations with God, book 1, like really spoke to me and changed.
You know what? I have that, and I haven't read it yet, so
Oh
I'm
my
going
God.
to pick it up.
Get it on audiobook and do it while you work out. It's so much easier.
Yeah,
Okay.
like Conversations with God, book 1. I read it in 2009, and I wasn't quite ready for it. I reread it in 2017, and it just clicked, and I was like, oh my God, and it changed the way I look at absolutely everything. And I love
I
it.
read in 2017 The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck,
Ooh,
and that one's good too.
okay, I like
Yeah.
that. I like that.
I do
Okay.
read a little bit, but I wouldn't call myself a reader.
Okay, and the one last question, we'll let you go, but an album recommendation.
My go-to album is Continuum, John Mayer.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Good to know.
That's good. So because here's the thing, like with music, like there's something so special about music where, like, whether you like it or don't like it, it doesn't matter. But if you're familiar with it, then it serves as like a record for your experience in life. So if you hear music that you haven't listened to in a long time, it'll take you back to that time when you did hear it. And
Yes.
so I like to be deliberate about recording, periods of my life to music. So
Oh yeah, I feel like my albums are scrapbooks, audible
Yeah,
scrapbooks
for
to
sure.
my life.
100%. And like so with that in mind, I have this habit, which I really don't do enough, but I'll take one album and I'll just listen to it on a loop, like for like even like days or weeks on end. So then I'm investing in down the road in the future whenever I hear that, like it's gonna conjure up this this feeling of that time. And so I like to ask people for album recommendations so that I can do that proactively. And John Mayer just got a big
I already
I'm
downloaded
gonna
it.
do it
I
because
just
it's
Well, if you
important.
want to do it with a single song, there's
No,
two
no.
songs.
It's gotta be a whole album.
Okay. We're gonna do a shameless plug there.
Oh,
But-
okay. Give me a shameless plug.
Shameless plug. I got a song out with Sam Smith called "I'm Ready," and then I got
Okay.
another song out called "I Love Me." So.
Okay, good.
I love
Well,
it.
How do we wait until this deep in to? Is there anything else that you want to promote?
No, that's good.
Okay, so I Love Me and what's the
I'm
se-
Ready.
And I'm ready. Okay,
Yes.
good. And yeah, and I want to like this is I think that in recent times the album that I was most rewarded by playing on a loop was when we were touring Europe, and it was an album that my buddy Bam Margera made. And like
Oh, cool.
he sings on the whole album, and like he just got like this like sort of cast of great musicians to put it all together. It was called the Eavesdroppers, something like that, and I just fucking love it. I can't tell Bam enough. I'm like, that fucking Eavesdroppers album is incredible. But yeah, and what is it, John Mayer? What?
Continuum.
Continuum. Does it have like hit songs that I'll know from the radio?
Yeah, you'll know a few.
Okay.
You'll know a few. But I think the album cuts on that album are what make it gold.
The album cuts on. Okay.
Album cuts are like the songs that aren't singles.
Right. Okay.
But they're on the album, and they help mold the album into the body of work that it is.
Okay,
you know?
good. All right, well then I'm gonna add to my iTunes, which I still use. iTunes is my thing. I'm gonna buy your songs, and I'm gonna buy John Mayer's Continuum album,
Yes.
and I'm gonna remember this this fucking shutdown forever. Yeah.
The longest staycation of our lives.
Right, for sure. And I just want to say again, thank you so much, Demi. Like, it is such a humongous favor that you've done for me to do this. It's just really, really, I appreciate it. I'm sure that everybody else does as well. And I'm not gonna be the fucking asshole who like asks the favor of recording the podcast and then turns around and says, "Oh, hey, will you post about it?" That's the worst, when they double whammy you like that. Oh no, no fucking way. This doesn't even. I'm sure it won't even need any promotion, and it's been fantastically entertaining. And all of my love from Wendy and everybody. I really appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
And even bigger thanks to you, the people who are still hanging in there this deep into the podcast. I love you guys so, so much. And as I've always done on every single episode, I've asked you guys to put a screenshot to let me know that you actually got this far and post it. And the people who do that, I call my street team. And to date, there is not one tweet, not one Instagram post with a screenshot of my podcast that I have not double tapped, hit the like on. I fucking dig it, dude. I dig it. My street team. So if you guys listen to this, thank you. And extra thanks if you're on the street team. And I'll hit up that post. Cool, man. Take care, guys.